So the first thing that I want to do to solve my problem using the standard algorithm is that I need to write down both numbers and I need to stack them over each other. And I want to make sure that my numbers are all lined up the right way before I start my math. So I'm going to start with the first number, 132. And then I'm going to put 257 underneath. And I want to make really sure that those numbers are nice and lined up because it'll make it a lot easier for me to add. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide my groups of numbers by their place value. And I don't need to do this, but I'm just going to put a little zero or an O for ones, a T for tens, and an H for hundreds, just so that I was reminding myself what place values those all were. So I'm going to solve. We always want to start from the right side and work our way to the left. Never, ever start from the left side, ever. Don't ever do that. It's really bad. Mess up some good thinking that you had. So I'm going to start on the right side. Bloop. And I'm going to add 7 plus 2. I can either do that in my head, I could do that on my fingers, or if I wanted to, I could draw a picture on the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I need to add a group of 2. 1, 2. And then if I draw my math like I just did on the side, what I like to do is I like to cross them out as I'm counting because that helps me make sure that I'm not counting one twice or skipping one. I can see with my eye which one I'm counting as I'm counting. So I'm going to do that as I count how many I have in the ones column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I know now that 7 plus 2 is 9, and I'm going to put that underneath in the ones column. Now I'm ready to move over to my tens column. So I see that I have 5 plus 3. So again, I could draw a picture, and I could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 1, 2, 3. And then I could count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then put that underneath the tens column. Shabam. Now I can look over at the hundreds. I can look at 1 plus 2. I know that 1 plus 2 is 3. So my answer is 389. The next strategy I'm going to look at is an expanded form strategy. So in expanded form, we break down all of the numbers into their ones, their tens, and their hundreds. So my first number, I'm going to put in a purple, 132. So I need to break down this number into its hundreds, into its tens, and into its ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a little arrow down from the 2. And I'm just going to say 2. Because when we break 2 out of this number, it's still just a 2 because it's in the ones column. So I'm going to put my little O, T, H, to remind me of my ones, my tens, and my hundreds. So there's only 2 because it's 2 ones, so it's going to stay the same. Now I'm going to bring my 3 down a little bit further than my 2. And I'm going to put my 3 down here. But there isn't anything left in my ones place because I already took that 2 out and it's sitting right here. So I don't want to put 2 back down here because it's already actually exactly where it needs to be right there. So I'm going to erase this. Then I have to move to my hundreds. And I'm going to bring that even further down than the 3. And I put a 1 there. And then this might make more sense if I break this up like this. So then there's nothing in the 10s. That's 0. There's nothing in the 1s. That's another 0. So the expanded form of 132 is the same as saying 100 plus 30, which came from right here, plus 2, which was our 2 right over here. When you put all of those numbers back together, they equal 132. But when we look at them this way, we can clearly see how many we have in the 1s, how many we have in the 10s, and how many we have in the hundreds. For some people, this is an easier way to count. So I'm going to do the same thing over here with my 257. But this time, I'm just going to think about how many hundreds are there. There are 2 hundreds. So I know to put 2 zeros after that. 200, 200s. There are 5 tens. There's nothing in the 1s. There are 5 tens. 5 tens is 50. And then 7 is still just 7. 200 plus 50 plus 7 is the same thing as 257. So what I can do now is I can add my hundreds to my hundreds. I can add my tens to my tens. And I can add my 1s to my 1s. So I'm going to do exactly that. You might not be able to see this black all that well, but that's okay. So I told you how we should add from the right side. So I'm going to start with the 1s because that's what I just told you we should do. So 7 plus 2, I know that equals 9. So I have 9 in my 1s column. Then I am going to look at 50 plus 30. So, and sorry, this is a little messy, but it's okay. 50 plus 30, 0 plus 0, 0. And then I look at 5 plus 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I know that this number is going to be 80. So 9 plus 80. I'm going to clean this up. I like to keep my math really clean because that way it really helps me keep track of what I'm doing. Sometimes if there's too much stuff on the page, I can be like, wait, what answer? Which thing? Where? Help? So I want to make sure that I'm helping myself. Okay, the next thing is going to be hundreds. So I'm going to add 200 plus 100. 0 plus 0, 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. And 2 plus 1 is 3. So I'm going to put that down here. And now my answer, if I collapse this back down, so I get rid of like those zeros, right, by adding, if I add 300, sorry, I'm just looking at what color I'm using. I'll use green. If I take this 300 and I say 300 plus 80, and this is why we want to make sure that our numbers are all lined up, because we don't want to line up the 8 under the 3. That would say 800 instead of 80. Then I'm going to use my little standard algorithm trick. 0 plus 0 is 0. 8 plus 0 is 8. And 3 plus 0 is 3. But I'm not done yet, right? I got rid of that 300. I got rid of that 80. I still need to take care of my 9. So I'm going to add 9. 9 plus 0 is 9. 8 plus 0 is 8. And see, that's what I'm talking about. But normally, right, you wouldn't be making an arrow in the middle of your math. I'm doing that because I'm showing you guys what I'm doing. Okay, and then 3 plus 0 is 3. 389. Ta-da! Okay, our last strategy. Is base 10 blocks. I am going to have to do a lot of drawing here, so I'm going to try to not talk as much, and I'm going to try and draw more. I'm going to give myself a little code, and I'm going to say that green is going to be my ones. I'm going to say that red is going to be my tens, and purple is going to be my hundreds. I'd say this strategy, if you're really comfortable with this strategy, keep using this strategy. But if you're not comfortable with this strategy while we're in distance learning, I don't think this is the best strategy to use unless you have things that you can move around in front of you, like base 10 blocks really are. If you do have real base 10 blocks in front of you, keep using this strategy. But I think there are better strategies if you're drawing your math or if you're having to figure this out. If you can use a different strategy, great. Again, if you already know how to use this one, keep using it. Just don't try and learn this strategy in distance teaching. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I need to look at how many ones I have. I have in this group, I have 7 ones. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now I want to look at the ones over here. And I have 1, 2. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at how many I have in my tens column. I have 5, and remember that is a stick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do the same thing in this number. I have 3. 1, 2, 3. And now, you guessed it, I'm going to look at how many hundreds I have. I have 2 hundreds in this number. Here's 1. Here's 2. And then I have 100 here. Okay, so then what you do once you have this all broken down into its ones, tens, and hundreds is then you add inside each group. So I'm going to add how many ones I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 ones. Now I'm going to count how many tens I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 tens. And last, I'm going to count how many hundreds I have. 1, 2, 3. 3 hundreds. So that would be how you use a base 10 strategy for addition without regrouping. These were 3 different ways that we solved the same problem with multiple different strategies. We got the same answer each time, so we knew that our thinking was correct on each one. So I hope next time you are doing some addition without regrouping, you think about one of these strategies.